What's happening, everybody? Patrick Thompson here on the Pinter and Patrick show with my man.
What's up? I'm Adam Wassen, filling in for Doug Pinter today.
You betcha. We're up here in East Peoria at a deck that Terry Raymer of Budget Builders Construction and Remodeling has completed. A privacy fence, a retaining wall under a shed, and he's, doing the work that he says he does, and it's fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible. We just did a quick walk around, and everything we saw, just like the last projects we've been on with him, really pretty mind-blowing. Just the amount of work that's done, the amount of work that he himself does, the way that it turns out. It's really neat. No corners cut by any means. Does everything the right way the first time and gives it that really neat look to it, kind of his unique touch on everything that really pays off for sure in the long run for people.
Absolutely. So as you guys are watching the show over the next 30 minutes, make sure that you go to Terry's website or give him a call, text, shoot them an email, because the work that they've done over the last year that we've seen here at Peoria Life, it has been phenomenal.
Oh, nothing short of it by any means.
So speaking of coming up short, unfortunately, Dunlap Eagles came up a little short in the state championship game against Phillips Academy.
Yeah, Chicago Phillips. It was a tough game. They first time all season that Dunlap did not have the lead in the game. So that's pretty incredible that they were able to accomplish that. Huge shout out to the seniors over there. Luke Benioff, Charlie Mangieri, awesome guys, did some great work, awesome season representing Dunlap. It all just came down to that. Chicago Phillips team was really, really good. They were pretty amazing to watch. I was watching the game, and their defense was some of the best that I've seen. They've got real talented running back who also played a defensive back role, really good there. Just everything they were doing, the schemes they ran, everything that way. Congratulations to the Chicago Phillips team on that state championship. Something that's pretty neat about that is that they are a 3A school. They're a smaller school. They petitioned to play 5A. They actually petitioned to play up in 8A, the largest size there is. They beat the team that won the state championship in 8A at one point this year. So IHSA would only let them go up to 5A. Didn't turn out too well for Dunlap. The IHSA did that because it seems like just about any other team that would have been put in front of them, Dunlap would have won that. But congratulations to Chicago Phillips there. All the other state champions as well. That 6A game was pretty incredible. It was Mount Carmel beat Nazareth, and that came down to a interception with 1 minute left. So another incredible game that way. Sadly, that's it for the high school football season.
Right.
So
and I do want to comment on the Chicago Phillips team. So they were trying to be 8A.
They were.
And so I remember talking to one of my clients in a training session that he said that they were like top 20 in the nation. I can see why they might be top 20 in the nation now. Like, I was kind of shocked that they're a 5A school was that good, but now I understand why, because they are, school districts, weird.
Oh, exactly. Definitely, especially playing up in Chicago. They've got incredible programs up there.
Yeah,
so you always seem to have, like I said, Mount Carmel up there, Lamont, always great programs. So really everybody up there, you got good teams coming through.
Right.
But then, with the end of the football season also comes the all-state teams, all-area teams. Some big congratulations to local guys.
Talk about your guys.
We've got one that I'm super proud of is young man Cody Wright from Richwoods. He's a senior this year. Yeah, the kid cleaned 285 pounds, I think, one day when you were in there. Extremely strong young man. And he got second team all-state. So that's absolutely huge. He kind of went into the season kind of a little bit of an unknown kid, and he really worked his butt off all off season and came out, showed exactly what he was worth. Also from Richwoods Hall, the running back, he got first team all-state.
Awesome.
So super cool that way. Karan Taylor, quarterback from Peoria High, another first teamer. Charlie Mangieri from Dunlap. Jet Schmidt from Notre Dame, another real good kid, lineman. So really neat stuff that way. Congratulations to all those guys. I know there's a few local guys that I didn't name, but congratulations to everybody there. Pretty neat when you got so many local guys that can't name them all there.
Well, and I know with Cody Wright from Richwoods, he was one of your athletes over the summer, right?
He was, yeah.
And I do remember him being here on the Pinter and Patrick show, and how outspoken he was, and how, he was mature.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that he's definitely earned his spot out there for the second team All-State in a stacked 5A. So, I mean, what's his plans for school? Is he a senior?
He's a senior. He's actually he's got a visit to St. Ambrose today, and that really, it's kind of funny because that was about the only school that had showed him any interest going into the season.
Great school.
But now we were talking the other night when he was in, he was saying that he's got coaches calling him kind of left and right since that he has gotten those accolades and people are really starting to notice him. So
good for him.
Huge props to him. Just kind of shows what that work in the off season does, because he wasn't made in the season. He's about 5'10" and maybe 185 pounds. So not your average college football player there, but it's that work ethic that really goes a long way. That's these high school kids, the small but mighty. Gino Hess from Peoria High, same way. Not very big, but he's worked his butt off, and it's paying off for him.
Absolutely. And speaking of work ethic, let's meet up with Terry here of Budget Builders Construction and Remodeling and take a look at the deck, the fence, and the retaining wall of the shed back behind us here. His work that he's doing, amazing.
Oh, it's incredible. Quick question, Pat. What are you doing tomorrow?
Going to the 2017 War of the Demigods down at the Civic Center.
Oh yeah, powerlifting meet tomorrow. The Demigods are coming.
Hey everybody, we're here with Terry Raymer of Budget Builders Construction and Remodeling out here in East Peoria, sitting on this lovely deck that he's built. I think this is his third different deck that he's done for us on the show here at Pinter and Patrick show. What do we got cooking here today, Terry?
This is actually we put in a 16 or a 14 by 18 size deck. It was a 10 by 16 is what it was before. They wanted more space on it, and then what we did is there was a little chain link fence down there. You can see some of the lines where it was at.
Yep.
And to make it bigger, they own the whole corner lot, so we also put in a privacy fence here, a 4-footer, is what we've done here. So
very cool.
Now you said that there was a deck here before. Did you use any of the base or anything that way? Completely tear that out and start from scratch?
Started completely out. There was actually a concrete slab down there. We got rid of that, and then we're actually going to put in a patio, pavers and that down there later on. But yeah, we had to start from scratch all over, tore the whole thing down, and new posts and everything. So
awesome.
Yeah. And before we go down there, and Terry talks about the fence and then the retaining wall that he's built as well, tell us a little bit about this deck. What is unique about it? I see we have some light fixtures there. Is there lights in there?
Yeah, it's solar. Everything's solar, so they come on at night. They're real low voltage, like a 4-watt. They're nothing real big or anything like that. It's just enough to light it up, and from the street when you see it at nighttime, it's kind of nice because it just shadows it out and stuff like that. Just a regular treated deck. Treated wood deck this time, 42-inch high spindles, hand rest. Like I told you guys before, I do my handrails at 42 inches because when you lean on them, 36 comes to here, 42 is like this, and it's almost perfect to lean on it. So
little bar area, right?
Exactly. Yep.
There you go.
So yeah, it is nice. And it's, how tall did you say we are here? How high up?
The hand railings are 42 inches high. The deck's 9 feet off the ground.
9 feet off the ground. Okay, so you can get a little basketball hoop on the side. And
exactly. just throw right into it.
With the patio coming in. And then I know with one of the places out over in Peoria that we were at once, maybe twice actually, you talked about how you did not build the deck up to the house. It's not attached, right? Obviously, this house here, there is probably 9 foot of concrete blocks there for the foundation. Now, does that play a role in anything, or does that make it relatively easy for you?
No, don't even attach it either.
Okay. Yeah.
No, what we did, you can see, I always bring the post a foot away from the house because there's always like a 4 or 5 inch foundation underneath of it too, so you don't go right up against the house anyway. Once you put the post, you put your beams, and then you slide the boards, the joists up against the house.
Very cool.
So, and then you attach it to the beams that way.
And that's I've seen with this deck as well as the others that we've looked at. They seem a whole lot sturdier than a lot of the other decks that you kind of see around it. I mean, we look at the posts that you got down there, and I mean, even just looking at the size of the bolts that we used here, what makes it a little bit different when you do something that's the freestanding as opposed to some of the ones that might be a little bit quicker, easier jobs where they do attach it to the house?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't attach them to the house. My biggest thing is because, like I had said before, that when you put the post in the ground as concrete, the house is already settled. If the posts settle, then it pulls it away from the house. So if anything settles, it all settles at the same time.
Okay.
And so I actually build the deck here. Actually, there's no step down from the patio door. It comes right out even with the patio door. You can see that.
Yeah.
Because if it does drop a little bit, it's only a little bit. So it's still just, 9 times out of 10, it won't drop. Because you always, when you put the post in the ground, you put an 8-inch base before you just dump it in the ground. You put an 8-inch base of concrete, then you put the post in, then you fill it in with the rest of the concrete.
Yeah, that is nice.
Awesome.
One thing I see here is that there's a huge space right now. I mean, it's almost my arm's length coming through here. There's 3 of us right here. It's not really tight, and I know you mentioned that on the last project that you did, that you make the walkways, actually it was in CIN, Community Investment Networking, that you make the walkways really, really wide. And that's just for, I mean, kids running up the steps, right? Running down the steps, hopefully they're not falling by any means, but what's your reasoning behind keeping it wide?
He wants to walk this way, I walk this way, we're not doing this.
Okay.
It's the biggest thing. This here is 6 foot wide, the steps are 4 foot wide, and you can get people coming up and down.
It's very nice.
So,
I mean, this one is nice because you could even have, watching the kids out in the yard here, be having a little party out here, barbecue, and you've got room up there, you've got, almost seems like an extra space over here. So.
Right. I do want to show you something up there if I can real quick.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Check it out here.
Come on up here.
We have Santa's little helper down there wearing the Santa hat today.
This has got 2, because this is my mother's house, and this is actually she watches my grandson.
Okay.
So the gate has 2 locks on it. I'll show you this. You got this one, and then you got the slide lock where you can't get out on here. And the deck boards are also the top of the handrails. It's the same thing. It's not a 2x4 or anything like that. One of my signatures I do with all my decks, and I'm sure you guys haven't seen any of these yet. I make these here. There's 2 holes in it. It's a storage unit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's a regular table, and all you do is either drill the holes a little bit bigger, put your fingers in it, pull it out this way, or put a rope on it. Either way.
Awesome.
But I do all these on all my decks. I make one for somebody because you always got scraps left over, so use the scraps for table. I got 2 more down there I got to finish up. Actually, one's going to go on the deck down there on the landing, and then the other one comes up here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So,
yeah. And you kind of read my mind, Terry, actually, when you talked about the safety of the deck and the door and the boards for the handrails and the where you walk. You make sure that all these boards are, I mean, they won't splinter unless you drop something heavy on it and it puts a gash in it. So, I mean, you definitely want to make sure that you're having a smooth board, or even another type of material that you've used out at Lake Camelot. What was that material?
the composite.
The composite.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you had a grandson, so I mean, if whether you want composite or wood, I mean, this wood's gonna be relatively smooth, very smooth actually, so the kids won't maybe fall and scrape their knee up. So
Right.
With this deck, it's a really nice deck, really pretty, and I know you have a lot more to show us down here. So you want to go ahead and show us the way?
Yeah. We'll head down here and go look at the privacy fence.
Lock us in, Adam.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
And so to the left here, Terry, you said that you tore out all that concrete.
Yeah, there was a concrete pad down here, and then what we were doing, like I said, is we're putting all new pavers. There's 3 different size pavers we're putting in, making a herringbone style going all the way through, putting a little retaining wall over there, and then we're putting a border around it. And with this being this height, we're actually going to have little retaining walls over here too.
Oh, awesome.
So that's what we're going to do with that stuff there. So
Very cool. And I know it's December 1st right now, and we're actually in t-shirts.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside.
Terry's in his shorts year round, actually. And will you plan to finish this patio and walkway area, or will you wait till it gets
No, we're going to
springtime?
actually start it next week. Yep.
Awesome. There you go.
Yeah, we're going to get it done.
So even though it's going to be, well, I don't want to say it's going to be cold because it's not, but December, I mean, you can almost do any type of job.
Oh, I build decks in the wintertime.
And that's
like
the
I
best
talked about,
time,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
In shorts.
Yep, exactly.
shorts.
Yep, exactly right.
So you got the patio, the walkway, the gravel. You obviously you do more than just build decks. You can do the landscaping.
Oh yeah, do all the
aspect of it.
landscaping. Yeah, the only reason I wanted to do this one here was just because we got 4 different things going on. We've got the landscaping, we've got the deck, we've got the privacy fence, and a little retaining wall for their shed because the ground's not level, so we made it level with a little retaining wall that way there.
Nice, very nice.
And you can tell by the privacy fence it's following the hillside.
Yeah, now let's talk. You mentioned that privacy fence a little bit before we got started, and this is a 4-foot privacy fence as opposed to the normal 6-foot. What's the reasoning for that?
This is actually on a corner lot, and on corner lots you can only put a 4-foot on because basically they have 2 front yards.
Okay.
So and you can't go over 4 foot on the front yard, and it can't go past the front of the house if it's in the front yard. So wherever the house stops, that's as far as the fence can go.
I see.
On the front of the house.
Now that's I like a lot because normally when you see a 4-foot fence, it's usually either like the white picket across the across the street there, or
The chain link.
got the chain link over there. You hardly ever see this nice of a 4-foot fence.
Right, right.
So is that one? Did you have to cut the posts or anything?
No. Well, the post I got 8-foot posts, and we put them in 2 foot in the ground. Put them down 2 foot in the ground. And then just cut them down low enough because you got to follow the landing and stuff like that around. So that part of it. And they're 4-foot pickets. You don't have to cut them down.
Okay.
They come in 4-foot size pickets. These are the dog ears, what they call them.
Okay.
So.
Looks really good look to it. Like I said, it beats that chain link for sure that you see on a lot of ones right there by the street. So much nicer look. Just gives it that little bit of touch of something different for sure.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know with like I see 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, 5 houses actually, and like they're gonna see this and just be like, dang, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
And it matches the deck as well. And doing something where it's the deck and maybe an additional project with the deck might make it easier for not just you, but the person living at the home.
Right, because I could have 2 guys working on a deck, 2 working on a privacy fence, 1 working on a retaining wall. We can have all my guys here at one time doing different tasks.
Oh,
So
definitely.
you're not running into each other.
As far as like the fence goes, how long did that take you to put up?
3 days. Yeah, individual pickets. It's not panels. Obviously, because being the fact of it'd be a panel every 8.
So Terry, when it comes to designing a deck like this where you have 2 unique steps that come down and then a little walkway and then a privacy fence, there's so many different ways that you can go about it, right?
Yes.
And one of the ways that I've heard you talk about many times before is that you have a CAD system that, I mean, you can show people what it's going to look like before you even start putting the nail to the wood, right?
Right, yeah. What I can do is I basically design all my projects, all my decks and stuff for people to give me an idea what they want, and I'll put it on a piece of paper, bring it back, show them what we can do. If we want to change it out, this and that, I always bring my laptop with it on there so we can just change it right then and there and then show them and give them a picture of it. And then when I do all my contracts and stuff, I make sure they got a picture of it with the contract and stuff like that. So no misunderstandings, no anything like that. So they get the plans and the picture and everything. They actually can see the visual, because a lot of people can't visualize what they're going to look like afterwards. You can sit there and talk about it all day long, but they can't visualize it.
Right.
As of this one here, where the steps are at, they were actually going to be right behind Adam and come straight down and into the grass. We put in a patio in. So what we decided to do is move it over here, bring it down, put the landing in, and bring it back toward the patio. So they're not walking in grass or anything like that. They're actually back on solid ground and, no mud, no anything like that. So
with that system you have, when you meet with people before you actually start building on kind of that last meeting there, it sounds like, you'll be able to have that laptop. And so if they say, well, the stairs look neat right there, but what if they were over here? And you can just change it right there.
Right then and there, yep. Just click of a button, yep, and just change it over, yeah, yep.
So with this specific project and even others before, I mean, you probably don't get it perfect the first time, right?
No, I mean, it's because it's my philosophy is it's the customer's house. Once I leave here, I don't see it at 24/7 like you do. Exactly. So, and I wanted to make sure when I leave here that you're satisfied with the whole thing, because I won't be back unless there's a problem or something like that, which hopefully there never is.
Right.
But they're the one looking at it every day. If there's one little niche or something that bugs them, I want to know about it, because they're the ones looking at it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's awesome. Definitely. Now we're over here by the shed too, and you mentioned the retaining wall earlier.
Right.
So what did was this shed already here, and then you built the retaining wall around?
No, they actually had a small little dinky one. We tore it down, and they had this one brought in. But if you look at the hillside goes down, so what I had to do is make it level, and I just used some treated with some CA6 and millings is what we call them. Built it all the way around. As you can see, there's 4x4s in the ground and two 2x10s and 12s going around, and then I actually put the gravel in between it to make it more secure. This way here, and it's all level. So once they put the shed on it, it was perfect.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah,
that's one we've seen it with every project we've been at you with. That there's not really anything as far as some contractors, they'll subcontract out, they'll have other people do other things. No, when it's budget builders, you do
all of it.
everything.
Yep.
So that's one that awesome. And you, like you said earlier, you can have something where you've got 2 guys working on the deck, and you've got 2 guys working on the fence, and then you've got 1 guy building a retaining wall. So you're knocking it out like that, as opposed to waiting to call someone to do the retaining wall, and then you got to have somebody else come to level everything out.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
You get 3 or 4 different contractors in here, you're going to have a miscommunication somewhere.
Oh, most definitely.
And the best part I like about these jobs here, when all my guys are here, I'm on the job 99% of the time. Is the biggest thing there is get the guys here, I'm here, the customer's here. If they need a question, I'm here. No miscommunication with one of my guys or the customer, or anything like that. So, and then I know it's being done right. So
that's the way to do it.
And my guys do a great job. They know what I expect out of them. They know what they need to do, and 99% of the time it works.
There you go. That sounds like your crew's been with you for quite a while. I know last time we met your son, he was out there with you.
Yep.
And how long have your other guys been with you?
My son's been with me 2.5 years this time. He was with me 3 years before. Greg's been with me almost a year, and Davey's been with me about 6-7 months. So you get guys that they come here, then they find a different job and stuff like that.
Right.
The best part about I think with mine is I'm always working. I have no layoffs. We're constantly working year round, and that's the biggest part.
Right.
And
for sure. I've got buddies who work in construction or anything like that, and it's that time of year where they're getting to the point where there's layoffs, and they you got to sit around, and there's not a whole lot to do. But like you said, you're building decks in December and January with the snow falling, so
not
makes
today.
A difference, for sure.
And plus, this isn't the only thing I do. There's nothing I can't do. Like I say, kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, roofs, windows, siding. We do all that stuff. So that's why we work year round, because I don't have to worry about not knowing something.
Yeah.
I've been doing it since I was 14, so it's been a long time.
So let's have a little fun here. What is your favorite project that you've done, or is there a favorite project that you've ever done?
There's a lot of them. Each category, I guess, the deck would be the last one we did, the big one.
Okay.
On the decks.
On the lake there.
Yeah, I love to redo kitchens to make them from a closed-in kitchen to an open with a breakfast bar. I did 3 of those. Redoing bathrooms, redoing basements. Just the after effect is the before and after is what makes a house different, and the customers are just they're impressed, and that's the best part, is because to be able to do something and visualize exactly what they're looking for, and I'm able to do that, so that's what I really enjoy about it. So there's not really one favorite job that I've done. I mean, there's so many different ones, like I said, in every category, but I just love doing this stuff.
That's like kind of one of those where like the old that home makeover show where they pulled the truck away and like the family got to see it. That's got to be cool, because you see that kind of thing every week. Like, just people's reactions when they come in, and I mean, you visualize it before you start, but like you said, a lot of people can't visualize the way things are going to turn out.
Right.
And so that's one being able to kind of see there. I mean, I haven't even seen the befores, but just the afters are mind-blowing to me on a lot of this stuff. Or like last time looking at the pictures of the house where it was you built the garage on and then added on to the house. Then after the show, before the show we had looked at it, and then afterwards I had to go back and look at the pictures again, because it's just unbelievable the difference that's made there.
It makes it that was a long process. That would probably, if any of them goes to one of the tops, because of what it did for them, and his dream came out of it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Very, very cool.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. Has there been a project yet where you've looked at it and said, I can't do this?
No. Nope.
Which brings us back to the job over in Pekin we were at a couple weeks ago. Was the job where you built the garage over the garage, and you almost rebuilt the whole house from where it was to where it is now. And how many contractors turned that job down?
7.
7. Didn't even do bids, right?
Yep, didn't. Just said they weren't going to touch it.
Mainly because he started it
by himself.
Mm-hmm. And which Terry was just like, well, I mean, what all have you done? I just need to know everything, and then I can kind of work with it, work my way around it. He made it work, so that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. With this deck here, with the retaining wall of the shed, the looks like double doors on the privacy fence there. Mm-hmm. Anything else to add to this specific project? Do you have anything coming up that you're looking to do this winter?
We're just doing small jobs here and there. Got a couple bathrooms and some other stuff to do, which keeps us through the winter inside work. Mm-hmm. If it gets really, really cold outside. I got one deck that we're probably going to start in January, end of January on that. Other than that, that's really just normal stuff.
Very cool. And
with the bathrooms, do you do all the plumbing stuff too?
I actually got to have a plumber for that because it's a federal law. It's a license. You have to have a licensed plumber for that kind of stuff.
Is that how it is with electrical as well?
Depends on what county. Peoria County, I keep up with all the codes and that. I can actually do Peoria County because they don't require a certified electrician. But most of my other jobs, like my Pekin jobs and the other ones where you have to have a certified electrician, I have to use them.
Okay.
Just because I'm not getting any trouble.
All right. Do it right the first time. Yeah,
yep, exactly. Yep.
Definitely.
And before we conclude here, for the listeners and viewers out there, what's 3 tips that you could give to a homeowner or maybe even somebody renting? 3 very important tips that you think that they should be aware of or look at when they're out in the outside portion of their house or the inside. To
look at, well, my biggest thing is make sure your smoke alarms. Make sure your batteries are changed. Test them. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is you walk into a house and the smoke alarm's not up on the ceiling. Or the batteries aren't in them. That's my biggest thing. That there. Dryer vents, make sure they're not the plastic, make sure they're the steel, because that catches fire. That's where a lot of fires come from, because the lint gets caught into that and it melts the plastic and catches on fire. That part, and I can't think of a third of those. Are my 2 biggest things on that stuff. If you got a light switch that doesn't work, or you get a spark or a hiss, or you've got an outlet that looks like it's burnt, get it changed immediately.
Okay. Wow, I learned a lot.
As far as people looking to do work, what do you charge to come out and do a bid for somebody?
Free estimates, always. Doesn't matter where it's at. Yep.
So if anybody's looking to do it, and that's one, like you said, if there's something that other contractors have turned down, other people have turned down, you've had that happen before and you've still come out and done it. So if it seems hopeless and other people have told you it's hopeless, probably not for budget builders.
Yep.
Hasn't been one yet, at least.
Nope, not yet.
So guys out there, everybody watching and listening, go ahead and go to Terry's website. What is that website,
it's
Terry?
budget1builders.com.
So budget1builders.com, and what's a good email or phone number for you?
The email is budget_builders1@yahoo.com, and the phone number is 309-202-2502.
2502. I love it.
Yep.
Be sure to link that website up in there. Is that the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? Is the website, the phone number? What really works best?
Phone, email, text, anything are the best. The 3 that I check on the most. The website I only look at when I try to upgrade stuff, which I need to do because I haven't done it in a while. So I need to update my website.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. That means he's a busy man.
Oh yeah, there you have it, guys. So if you're looking for anything done that you were maybe thinking about waiting until spring, or if you got that project that you didn't think was possible because maybe somebody else has told you that it's not, Budget Builders, give them a call, 309-202-2502. Terry will help you out for sure.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the Pinter and Patrick Show on Peoria Life. Patrick Thompson with Adam Wassen and Terry Raymer.
PeoriaLife.com